13 years together, almost 11 years married.
Almost.
11? I'm a mom and I'm a wife, but I also have a pretty extensive design background. We've been really great working together because he works kind of here and I'm a little bit way over there.
Sorry, my laugh. It just like chuckles.
It echoes.
We love living in the Inland Empire because it's centrally located. And actually, we grew up in the Inland Empire. You're close to the mountains, to the beach, the desert.
Yeah, hop on the 15, head to Vegas. We're not too far from that.
It's a great place to raise a family. There's so much history here, beautiful scenery, beautiful parks.
Culture.
Yeah.
The cost of living's cheaper.
Yeah, a lot cheaper here. You get so much more for your money out here.
I want to share with other families that it actually is easier than you think to have a quick home-cooked meal after a long, busy day.
When you feel good and you eat good, you're gonna perform better in life.
I grew up very different than he did, so when it came to DIY, I was very immature.
Switch only costs $2.
Cheaper the better.
We could go on for years to talk about this one. Just gotta live within your means.
Get your hands dirty and do a DIY project. Those are always fun. We've got them all over.
Put these away. There's no room. Babe, what is so important on TV that you can't turn away right now?
Oh, I'm watching. I remember television. What's the problem, babe?
Babe, I need help in here. There's no storage.
What are you looking for?
Won't even close. I need more room.
One of the biggest things in a kitchen is cabinet space, especially when you have a lot of pots and pans. And our problem that we have right now in the kitchen is the baking sheets and cutting boards that we're just having sitting on a shelf. So what I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna actually make a cabinet drawer and a door so we can house the baking sheets and cutting boards.
Okay, so first off, real designers have their names P-touched on their measuring tape. Aren't you proud of me, babe?
That's very sophisticated.
Yeah.
For a tape measure, I like it. Well, the next thing now, since I have my wife with her beautiful measuring tape with her P-touch name, we're gonna actually take some measurements of the cabinet.
Was it 9?
9, okay.
All right, so we're at 29
Clean.
and 23. Is that all you need?
That's it.
All right, get to work.
All right, let's
Let's
go.
go sand it. Let's go cut it.
Well, now that the wife kicked me out of the kitchen, and now I'm in my man cave, basically my workshop, where I get the job done. My workshop here is nothing too sophisticated. I got very basic tools just to do the basic jobs I need to do around the house. And I don't spend a lot of money on the tools, depending on what job I need to get done.
Okay, so today I'm gonna make my famous faux fried chicken with spicy broccoli. Brian's busy making me a cabinet today to organize my cutting boards and baking sheets. So I'm gonna reward him by making a very, very delicious and nutritious meal. So today we're gonna be using some fresh ground pepper, onion powder, some Himalayan pink salt, grass-fed butter, brown mustard, fresh paprika, and some garlic powder. I'm a busy mom and I work full time and I want a nice hearty meal that's gonna keep me from going to the drive-thru because we don't need all that. So today I'm gonna do a faux fried chicken. Very simple ingredients. Come home from work, pop this in the oven about an hour, get some chores done, maybe do a little laundry, boom, nice and done. So I'm going to first off start by seasoning my bone-in chicken thighs. I like to use chicken thighs for numerous reasons. It's a very tender, juicy meat, and the bone helps to flavor the chicken very, very well and nicely, and the skin is actually a good fat for you. So I'm going to just put some fresh ground pepper all over the chicken, and I use about 12 because chicken thighs tend to be a little bit smaller than breasts so that you can actually maximize your meal. And I'm gonna combine my paprika, my onion powder, garlic powder, Himalayan salt, and I'm gonna go ahead and sprinkle that on the chicken as well. Okay, next up, I actually don't like mustard. You can ask my mom, never a fan. Hashtag true story, I don't like mustard. I grew up at the ball field, my mom, Dodger games, and I loved a Dodger dog, but I liked it plain. No mustard, no ketchup. But as I've gotten older, my taste buds have grown up. So hey, be proud of me.
Yeah, she's making improvements, ever so slightly.
The mustard with the combination of the grass-fed butter is really gonna, again, keep that chicken nice and juicy, and it's gonna crisp the skin. And that's where the faux fried chicken comes in. So I'm going to put about 2 tablespoons into about 3 tablespoons of butter. Whisk that up. And I'm just gonna lightly brush it on the chicken. Couldn't be simpler. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Just get an even coat. And this is just gonna kind of self-baste itself in the oven. We're gonna cook it on a high temp too. So we're gonna do about 425 for about 50 minutes. After 50 minutes, baste it again, just to get that extra crisp. And that is the secret, actually. To get a little bit more extra crisp, you wanna put a little bit more of the wet ingredients on, just about 5 minutes or so, because you don't have to really worry about cooking it, it's just gonna help it to crisp. So we're just gonna make sure that each of these thighs are evenly coated, and we're gonna reserve just enough in the bowl. For the secret to that faux fried chicken is that extra crispiness. We're gonna do it at the end. So about 5 to 10 minutes time remaining to cook. We're gonna go in and re-baste it onto the chicken. We're gonna put in the oven at 425, a preheated oven. And we're gonna let it cook.
So now we're here to cut down the sheets and go through the process as far as how to make a cabinet door and actually make the cabinet insert. For this project, I decided on going with birch. Birch is a great wood, has very mild grains, hard wood, doesn't twist or warp because of that fact. I'm gonna use that to make the border for the door. And then for the panel, I'm gonna use MDF. And the reason why I use MDF is the fact that it's just particle board. The expansion and contraction. With MDF, you're not gonna get that. From this point, now I got my sheet of birch wood on my workstation. I'm gonna get everything down to size. So I'm gonna measure this out based on the dimensions that we measured out in the kitchen for my wife. I'm gonna take it over to the miter saw, we'll cut it down to that size, and then I'm gonna come back over here to my workstation and use the table saw to cut the 2.5-inch borders that I'm gonna need to make the border for the cabinet door. And then from that point, I'll take the MDF and we'll make the panels next. So how I learned how to saw is I went on the internet and I typed in how to use a table saw on YouTube. Can you help these? I'll tell you, I've had the board fly off that table saw and hit the wall a couple times. I just tell the kids to avoid it at all costs.
I wait for the screams when I'm in the kitchen from the garage because really hoping he doesn't lose a limb.
Like the girl scream? Sorry. Oh, babe smells good in here. What are you cooking?
Thanks, your favorite, faux fried chicken.
Faux fried chicken. You know what's great with faux fried chicken is spicy broccoli. It's a great side dish and also a healthy choice. And the benefits of broccoli, it's packed with vitamin K, vitamin C, potassium, and antioxidants. So what you're gonna do is when you cook with broccoli, you wanna cut the stalk off and keep the florets.
Be out there.
And what you want to do is just basically break it up, cut little sections off. Because when you start cooking, you don't want big, stocky broccoli in the frying pan.
And more stock on it actually makes it more bitter. So
It does.
You definitely just want the flowers. All right, babe, that
All right,
looks
let's
really good. I love you, but what's going on with my cabinet?
Hey.
Can you get back to that? I'll finish this. I got it from here.
Sounds
All right,
good.
thanks, babe. Okay, So I'm gonna go ahead and make that spicy broccoli now. Take it over to the stove. I'm gonna turn it on to about medium to low heat. And I'm gonna add my famous avocado oil. Not mine, I didn't make it, although that would be very talented if I could. I'm gonna put about 3 tablespoons in the pan, and I'm gonna let that get nice and hot. I'm gonna actually flavor my oil by adding in some red chili flakes. And some of that Himalayan salt. Now, avocado oil retains its nutrients. It's a high soluble fat, so that's why I like to cook with it. And it gives any food you cook with it a really, really tasty flavor. I'm gonna let that get nice and hot. I'm just taking that reserved brown mustard and butter mixture, and I'm gonna give it one last little brush on the last few minutes of cooking. Just again, get that final awesome crisp to our faux fried chicken. This is the secret here. This gets it that extra crunchiness. I mean, it's crunchy anyways, but this is gonna get it a little bit over the top. Let that cook for about another 5 minutes or so. And I'm gonna carefully add my broccoli into our avocado oil. Little chili flakes are on the bottom with the Himalayan salt. I wanna be careful. I did turn my heat down a little bit to about a medium-low still, so we don't get that oil splattered everywhere. I'm gonna go ahead and let that cook for a little bit and get a little char to it. And then we'll finish it off by steaming. And voila. Now you can make this as spicy or not so spicy as you want. If you're making this with kids, maybe omit just a tad of the chili flakes. The heat actually cooks down, so you don't need to worry about it burning your kids' tongues. You'll know it's done when it gets nice green color. We do want a little bit of the char, and I'm using a cast iron skillet because again, it gives it that flavor from the seasoned pan, and it just cooks very, very evenly. So you can see how there's a nice, good, solid green color, very vibrant. And I'm gonna go ahead and carefully add some water. And I'm actually gonna just cover for about 5 minutes or so. Let the broccoli finish cooking, steam, get all the flavors together, and I'll be done. In the meantime, I'm gonna take my chicken out and let it rest. In about a few minutes, we'll have our meal ready to go.
Now that we cut our board down from the miter saw, now we're here at the workstation with the table saw. We're gonna cut this down to 2.5-inch sheets for the cabinet door.
How did you not cut your finger off there? I don't get it. Your fingers are so close.
Always be aware of what you're doing and never take it for granted. Never put your guard down. You always have to be aware of what you're doing when you're using that table saw. All right, simple as that. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is start with our router bits. I'm gonna put them into the router table. Now we got everything all set. Let's start routing. Now that we have everything cut down to size, we have everything routed, this is just a simple step of just putting everything together. Got your panel, we'll slide it in the insert. See, this one I got really just about perfect on this. There you go. Simple as that. Got a cabinet door.
You know, using a router, I'll tell you, if you want the details, a router is the way to go.
Routing really gives you that unique, finished look. It really helps you get those detailed edges.
You know, too, it's like a lot of these details you really can't do by hand.
No. You
Because-
can't take a little a screwdriver and really carve those in. I mean, I guess you could. It's a very detailed process, but to speed that up, make it a little bit more accurate in a timely fashion, the router's the way to go.
Yeah, it'll
But
add
I've
the
seen
details.
furniture actually hand carved. and it's
Yeah,
really
they do it, but I got a job, I got kids.
know,
I don't
it's
have
a
that
lot of
time.
work.
So if I could quit my job and do it, hey, why not?
No, you need to work. Be very careful. Take it out of the oven. Let's see here. That's fine. Get that nice broccoli. Definitely want to make sure you don't over steam it because then it can get really soggy. And you want to make sure you still have a good bite to your broccoli. Okay. I'm just gonna plate my chicken. And you can see that combination between that Dijon mustard and that grass-fed butter really gave that skin an awesome crunch for our faux fried chicken. Okay, so now we've plated it, and as you can see, that combination between the brown mustard and the grass-fed butter really gave the chicken a delicious crunch. It gave it that flavor and everything that we love from fried chicken, but it's faux. You also can save the cooking liquids from the remaining of the pan, freeze it, use it later, add it to a recipe to a nice starter, add that good base, you're good to go.
All right, well, here are all our pieces for our cabinet drawer. And this is just simply as drilling holes and putting screws in. And you could glue it for more strength and stability, but for this case, I'm just gonna drill screws. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill the holes right here on the side, and then when I put the door on, you're never gonna see it. It's gonna hide all the drill holes and all the screws. So I have these little brackets right here, and what it does is it helps me square everything up when I'm assembling the drawer. They're very useful, and it's a lot easier than trying to hold it, drill the holes, and then put the screws in at the same time. All right, let's grab our screw. Now that we have everything assembled and complete, let's see what the finished product looks like of the drawer. So this one, it looks different is because I put a clear coat of poly on there. And the poly, what it does, it helps protect the wood itself from moisture, from scratches, and any kind of mold, because this will be in the kitchen too. So you have a lot more water, a lot more traffic in the kitchen. I went ahead, I put the side rails on, and I actually routed the top to give it a softer edge. And you can either do that with a router, or you can actually use a sander. Earlier when I was describing as far as when drilling the screws from the face, the back faces, well, your cabinet door, which I have right here, this is actually gonna go on the front. So it's gonna hide any screws that are visible to the human eye. Well, here's our finished product. This actually came out really nice. So what I have here is I put 2 coats of primer and then 2 coats of finish coat on top. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna install the cabinet drawer first, and then the next thing we'll do is assemble the side rails and then how to put on a cabinet door. So you know what? Let's get everything together and let's go. I'll see you inside. Here we are in the kitchen. I got my cabinet drawer that we just made. I got my new cabinet door. So let me show you down here. What I did here is I used a thicker part of this lumber, and I basically placed it underneath here, underneath the drawer slider, and I use this as my guide when trying to level this to the cabinet. And this makes it a lot easier, and it's just a scrap piece of lumber. All right, here we go. installing the cabinet drawer into the slider, and they basically click in. It's very easy. Simple as that. You got a leveled cabinet drawer. All right, now to the last final step to complete this job, the hard work that we put in. I've got my finished cabinet drawer door. We got our cabinet drawer installed. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this door onto the actual drawer itself. I had this double-sided adhesive tape, and this is the same thing that we use to hang hooks on doors and windows, picture frames. We're gonna put this tape on here. Okay, now that we have our tape on, what we're gonna do is to position this, I'm gonna start from left to right, and then as I roll it on there, I'm gonna flatten it out and push it in and hold it for a couple seconds. Tell you, man's best friend is his clamps. Can never have enough of these. Now that we have the cabinet door fastened to the drawer, remember those tapes I told you? Basically just pull them out. We have a new cabinet drawer. It's gonna house the cutting boards, the baking sheets, all the real estate was taken in the cabinets. Now we have a compartment for it. Now a little final touch. There's nothing like soft closing doors. Really puts that little touch, that snazz to it. Hey babe, come over here. Check out your new cabinet drawer.
Coming. Wow, babe, looks great.
I call you just in time for another hand.
Awesome.
All your cutting boards, baking sheets, all the real estate you used to take in the cabinets, now we got a spot for it.
Yeah, you did such a good job.
Oh, thank you. Something like this in the market, you could spend anywhere around $200 just to make one drawer. So for us, hey, I'm all about saving.
How much did it cost total?
$50.
Awesome. Good job.
It's also soft closing.
Now that's cool.
Love the finishing touches.
I know, and it's nice and smooth too. Can you do this to all the cabinets now?
Hey, I'm knocking down that laundry list one item at a time.
It's nice to see that craftsmanship coming back. Getting your hands dirty, really being able to articulate. It's a piece of art. You created a piece of art. And that's really cool to see, and other people can be empowered to do the same.
You know what? Honestly, it's awesome to take something from raw lumber and to create a cabinet door, and just anything that you can use to decorate your house.
Well, it's cool to see that, you know, you progress as you keep doing it in these projects. You get better and better because you learn from your mistakes, and if you make a mistake, we can actually design it to make it part of the project.
Once you get going, you're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
You just gotta keep at it. You'll start inching with progress along the way. And it's really just showpieces. When people come over like, oh, I love this.
I
And
made it. I
Yeah.
did that. Well, you did it.
I don't brag about it, but I'm like, yeah,
You
it looks
should.
pretty nice.
I mean, it's not like just bragging. I think it's a trophy piece. You have a trophy piece in your house.
You know what? You take a lot of pride in your house, your home, and your work.
Yep.
It's
I
just
did
such a
that.
great feeling. I don't know.
Yep.
Because you're not hiring somebody to do it. You're actually you're doing it on your own.
Yep.
You know, babe, you did a great job on baking this. I love the crust that you put on this skin.
Well, I love your fine chopping skills with the broccoli.
Good spice to it, too. I love it. Cheers.
I don't know.
Like a cowboy. You got my white man moves.
No. Put him away.
Support for this program is from viewers like you. Thank you.